1990, 2000, 2010 census showed the population growth was like somewhere around 14–15% in Humboldt County. But the elementary school kids, whose their parents aren't leaving because there are no jobs, that's down 15%.
Yeah.
We're losing those group of people. The economic driver that's most primary for this county is quite definitely the Bay.
Is what?
It is the Bay.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have it, we would be just like Willis. That is what this place would be like, whatever university, nothing else, no Eureka, and all that. And it's the only Deepwater port that doesn't have a rail connection. We have a rail system that actually connects to there, so things can be transferred from other places. The CEI thing is, yes, it's important, but it's not really the deciding factor. There's plenty of land to be used for industrial.
There's more than enough.
Yeah. So if we had the ability to get stuff out, and we would be a land bridge, as it said, and the roads thing, the roads are all built on stagecoach roads. These are the oldest roads, so they're not going to take big trucks. And they failed, was it a year ago that you can get in and out of the county. It was so bad. But they're all steep things like $2.99 and all the rest of it. Rail is the saving thing for the future. And you talk environmentally, it's the way to go. 1,900 trucks a day come into Humboldt County. Think of the pollution of that. But 1,900 a day.
Wear and tear.
Most of those will go away once you have rail coming into here, right? And this 130 miles to go to Red Bluff, like that can be done. You probably go along somewhere just north of Highway 36. Much better than 299 and all that area. It's a flatter way to go. When 299 is closed down, 36 is one of your ways to do it. Right. So that is the economic driver for Humboldt County. And I'll tell you from personal experience that I was one of the founding directors of the Humboldt Watershed Council, helping Charles Hurwitz out here. The weaker we become socially and politically and economically, the more likely you're going to have Charles Hurwitz's come into the county and rape us in some way, like take our natural resources and not give us anything, we're going to wait. So all this stuff is related. We want to keep our county what it is, and all has to be.
One of the things, and I'm not going to talk about this other than this today, but it is we're working currently on updating the housing element right now. And normally when you see a chart of a population, it's kind of shaped like this, where there's a group in the middle that's between, say, 20 and 40 years of age, and they're the biggest segment of the population. That's not true for Humboldt County. Our chart goes kind of like retirement. And that becomes very problematic for attracting industry, because the thing that we don't have the workers.
And jobs that would stay here.
And so, one of the things I almost want to say, I'm getting off subject here, I apologize, but with respect to our housing element, it's like, forget talking about housing. We need to talk about job creation. Because if we don't create jobs, we don't need the housing. And that's a fundamental problem that we're struggling with.
Question. Are you, I mean, we keep hearing how many hundreds and hundreds of jobs are being created by the cannabis industry. Are you guys tracking that? Is that true, or is that kind of a myth?
That's an interesting question that is, we're not tracking it closely. We are getting statistics. We haven't assimilated those yet. But one of the things that's interesting that we are seeing is rather than having the migrant cannabis or marijuana
Trimmers,
yeah, I'm trying not to use a derogatory term.
Oh. Is that
No.
Scissors, trimming?
Well, I was going to call them the trimmers. That often become part of our homeless population, is that we are now seeing more full-time jobs being created, which is a net benefit to our economy. It's a net benefit to
packaging, the distribution, and all that.
Yeah. So I think that is having a net benefit, because we will be producing jobs that are stable and where people can live in a stable lifestyle rather than in and out of temporary positions.
When I was a young person, I lived in Sacramento, and their largest employer was McDonnell Douglas.
Was what?
McDonnell Douglas. And they had thousands of people working for them, and eventually they ran into financial problems. And they went under, and they had to really draw back. And as a result, there were thousands of people out of work in Sacramento. It took them 10 years to come out of that. And the way they came out of it was by being diversified. Please, do not just focus on cannabis. It has to be bigger than that. It has to be a diversified economy to support this county. The other question that I have you looked at like places like Humboldt Bay? I don't know how they're doing, but what's been how they responded to development in their areas?
Have not, that's a good question. Next time we cross paths, I will have an answer to that.
Good.
I believe the market study did look at.
Who's Bay?
Yeah,
Do you recall what it said?
no.
So I don't have any doubt that, I've read that study, I agree that that's the conclusions of that study. But the market changes.
Yeah.
And right now, there's 6 acres of CDI lands that was just submitted a coastal development permit in Fields Landing. The Nordic aquaculture, 30 acres of CDI on the pulp mill. We're anticipating another application for a CDI use of another 10 acres. There's another application that I know you've been working on with the Fairhaven. That's at least a 5% growth within the next year or two that we're anticipating in CDI. And so I'm not seeing a decline in the demand for CDI. I'm seeing a dramatic increase in demand for CDI at this point in time. And I think the core question is will this demand, will they actually be able to get the permits? And I think that if it's shown that the county will actually be able to issue the permits and the Coastal Commission won't challenge it, and they'll actually be able to go into operation, then the demand will just continue to rise.
I would like to think that's right, Larry. I mean, I have a pretty high confidence that people submit applications, we're going to get them across the finish line.
Also, it's kind of like you're taking a snapshot in time and saying, okay, right now, we're not having this, so we're never going to have this. And I just think, and looking at what Lynette's working with the Nordic, we didn't get our presentation last month, but I'm looking forward to hearing about their plans for shipping out by truck all of this stuff, when I know personally that when we had the big squid fishery that happened, that 1-2 week period, I think, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, that it cost them 10% of their catch, of their profit, to ship through Richardson's Grove. So of a $555,000 season that they had for squid, they paid $55,000 just to get it through Richardson's Grove. This is a bottleneck. If shipping is by truck is what Nordic is planning to do, it can be a problem.
We agree.
Which is a 502-14. The rail is a good asset, but my question is, how much automation is it going to be with this green rail? Because Long Beach is fighting automation right now, where there's no longshoremen on the facility, and everybody's talking jobs. And these ports now can be developed with no personnel except some clerks and superintendents on SSA side. So I'm yet to see where there's that much work available. You're saying 400 to 500 jobs, longshore jobs. I hope that's true. Nobody can say how much automation this is going to be. I mean, you got cranes that no one's in them, you got trucks that go back, they refuel themselves. I mean, cranes, the trucks go out to the dock with nobody in them. And everything is automated. And when that happens, I know politicians in Southern California, even Gavin Newsom, is recognize that we're in the fight of our lives because robots don't help the local economy. They don't pay taxes, they don't contribute. And somebody said, we don't want the Hurwitz's coming in here. Well, you know what? You're gonna have robots with certain companies making billions of dollars. And we're not, there's no man.
I'm not sure I can address that from a land use standpoint in terms of what automation will happen. You make me feel a little uncomfortable, like maybe we as people aren't needed anymore by the machines if it gets to that point.
It's happening.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I think one of the things I want to go back to that Larry brought up, that we're starting to talk about at the county a little bit more, is getting through not only the land use process, but then getting to a place where we actually pre-permit sites for development. So that if there's somebody, a manufacturer, coastal dependent industrial use that wants to come in, they don't have to come in and wonder, can they get through the county, can they get through the coastal commission, you know, can they get through the harbor district? That's already done. And if they come in and they fit within the box or the circle or the square peg, whatever it is, that they can go straight to, if it's an existing facility, production, if it's a new build, they can go straight to construction, because the environmental work, the permitting work is already done. So that's the next step in the evolution of this thinking that we're talking about today. We do want to create an environment where developers, where industry knows that they're wanted. That's part of it. And so we've got to create a different kind of mindset from a regulatory standpoint in terms of what we are trying to do. We don't want to give up the beauty of this place. You know, we don't want somebody to come in and destroy it. But we do want to work collaboratively with people who want to come in and give our kids jobs and our grandkids jobs and create a good place to live and work and thrive. Yeah, Jack.
So on that point, John, you talked about the alcohol earlier. What's the potential maximum use on that alcohol? How many projects use that alcohol?
How many what?
Projects. So how many different types of uses?
I am
facility?
understanding that there is really not a limit in terms of industrial growth for the use of that pipe. That is not the bottleneck that will stop industrial growth on the peninsula. They're funding the wastewater treatment plant's the bigger issue. In all honesty.
To allow the houses.
Yeah. Well, we need the houses, actually, this is going to sound strange, we need the houses to be involved early on to pay the initial cost of getting it started, while the industry comes along and develops its ability to pay for it. So there's a fine balance there, and the Coastal Commission is not liking that at all.
Build those houses, so now.
What's that?
To build those new houses so they will sustain a tsunami. So who's going to do that?
Well, they don't even want the houses served because that prolongs the life of the houses. And then if you put a sewer pipe, this is legitimately the argument, if you put a sewer pipe in front of those houses, what about the vacant lots? Because now they're developing there. So that's part of the fight that we're in the midst of.
But isn't there a problem?
What's that?
Isn't there a problem with the arena numbers that the state's going to say we're not going to give you the money? Isn't there
Well, there's
a
that.
catch-22 going on right there?
There is very much a catch-22 going on there, and you know that I could spend another lunch talking about the arena numbers and our need to think differently about how we're developing housing. There was a young lady sitting back there a few moments ago that has come in several times and is looking at some of the pieces out here on the Samoa Peninsula, and she has some incredibly creative ideas. And I would love to see her be able to do what she wants to do to provide affordable entry-level housing. But right now, we're just in the fight of our lives to try to balance getting, well, getting the wastewater treatment plant permitted is really the struggle. Getting
But
that
the
done.
pipe is gonna be central to that, the
Yep.
outfall.
The outfall's there.
And the outfall's also intrinsic to the fish plant, and the outfall's also intrinsic to bringing in fiber optic. And the outfall's also, how many uses can that pipe handle all at the same time? Because it sounds like everybody wants to use that outfall for everything.
Well, that outfall used to accommodate a pulp mill, which is a pretty big use. And, you know, I don't know the answer to all those questions.
There are additional outfalls too, that could be refired, so. that would-
Are they in good shape?
One of them is, the others need more work.
Let's let Larry wrap this up because it's getting late.
Okay.
Larry, sorry.
Okay, no, Larry, wrap it up.
Larry, why don't you wrap it up?
Are you?
You have one more slide?
Oh, no, I've got lots more slides.
Oh,
We're not going to get there today, so I think, you know, the thing that wastewater treatment plant,
and
I think, you know, the thought that I want to leave you all with is where we want to get to with the Humboldt Bay area plan, is to develop a community approach to our needs. And those needs have to do with continuing to develop the economy. We need to create jobs. We need to create an environment where jobs can be created. Yes, we have coastal resources that need to be protected, but you know, we can balance those together, and that's really what we want to do. Thank you very much for the dialogue. It's been
I have to say this is the first time I've 70 presentations that